Hey guys, welcome back to the Transformation Church Message Recap Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Justin Oswald. Got the man, the myth, and the legend, Mexican Ricardo.
Oh dear.
As we call it, Rico.
Oh my God! Don't start that, Lord Jesus.
Ricardo Rodriguez, pastor extraordinaire, is in the building.
That's not
He
true
is,
at all.
and then we also have Nate sitting over here.
What's up, guys?
Our student director, John, is behind the John is behind the camera over there, hitting buttons and stuff. And Pastor Brad is not here. He is en route
To Guatemala.
Guatemala, doing a little trip with Compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool.
I really hope he goes to have you ever been to Guatemala?
No.
They have this big city dump where people live.
Oh, I've heard that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you going to go there? He goes, I don't know. But
So what?
I cried every time I walked.
Apparently what this trip is it's like a vision trip where I think it's all pastors.
Yeah.
And they take pastors to go in hopes that the pastor brings that back to the church. Essentially, it's almost like a sales pitch. Like they want us to include them we talk about our legacy mission partners. Yeah. It's a way for them to bring the senior pastors on these trips to show them what they do. Yeah. And then in hopes that the pastor will include that in our missions stuff, which is cool, which I think that's fine. So Brad's got a connection with one of the guys at Compassion's, like a friend, that asked him to go to be a part of that. So, we're always looking at our missions, legacy lanes and our missions partners and all that stuff. So I think it's cool. I was always leery of those bigger organizations because I think of like Red Cross, where they have such a high administrative cost that, it's like for every dollar you give, only like 30 cents ends up doing missions because the rest has to cover, their corporate office people and all this stuff. Like you got to run it and operate. I get it, but some of them have like real high costs. But some of these Christian ones try to do a good job with mitigating that, which is why we like ARC. So we talk about ARC as our national legacy lane. Me and Pastor Rick and Pastor Brad were just there last week at the ARC conference. What's cool about ARC as a organization, so they plant churches. Mm-hmm. The lead team of ARC, all the pastors on that lead team, they underwrite the cost to run ARC. So ARC does have a staff and it's got people and, the whole thing, but that staff is divided amongst like 9 people on the lead team. And that lead team, their churches treat that as part of their missions dollars.
Okay, got it. Gotcha.
That way for the rest of us, whether you're a person or a church like TC, every dollar we give, the full dollar goes towards planting churches.
That's good.
Because the admin costs are underwritten by the lead team, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
So we know that when we give, $2,000 or whatever, that goes directly to
the full amount goes to planning a church.
Okay. So that's always cool. So
now, is Compassion the one that they show pictures of kids and you sponsor a kid?
So I think so. Compassion is the one about the hungry kids.
Okay.
Feeding kids and stuff.
Got it.
I think it's Compassion Worldwide.
Okay.
I think is the name of it.
Compassion International.
Or maybe Compassion International, something like that.
Worldwide.
Yeah. And then what's the other big Christian one that when you go to like a
conference,
like a concert. The concert they what's that one?
I know you're
Casting Crowns did a big concert, and that was like one of their big things, and it was like you almost sponsor a kit.
Yep.
I can't remember.
I forget.
Yeah,
not Convoy of Hope.
They always got me and Tiffany every time we did that because
Convoy of Hope is another one.
Oh, it's terrible. I'm sitting there listening to good Christian music, and then they're like, "Hey, we're going to play a video," and I'm like, "Oh, great!" And it's like kids are hungry and all over the world. I'm like, I start crying like a baby. So then
it works.
Sponsor a kid. So
Do you got kids somewhere?
We did for a while.
Yeah.
I hate to say we hadn't done it in a long time.
Yeah, well, poor kid.
I forgot what happened.
Golly.
Wow.
We got 2 of our own. We adopted 2 from the state. Okay, so maybe.
Oh,
that's
that rice bowl went. Oh my God, I'm sorry. You can make jokes, but he got used to that rice bowl, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah,
because of Rico over here.
Sorry, my bad. But we adopted kids from the state.
That's true. I think that counts. It probably costs a lot more
to adopt kids.
Yeah, you're surely the
Lord had favor on us, so we.
I heard it's expensive.
Yeah, so
why is it so expensive to adopt kids?
I don't know.
international adoption is very expensive. You're looking at 20 grand to adopt internationally.
That's a
But what I'm saying is, like, if as a Christians are against generally abortion, and so an alternative to that is adoption.
Yep.
And you would think that they would make it as easy, to adopt.
I'm telling you right now, if you have a heart to foster to adopt, there are lawyers within this state, in the state of Alabama, that will waive all their fees just so that you would have the privilege and the opportunity to adopt a kid.
Really?
So that's what happened to us.
Wow.
Do you have to foster before you can adopt?
No. Well, okay. Technically, yes. So for us, we didn't want to foster to adopt, but what we had to do was the kids came to live with us December 18th. Then we had 90 days. That's technically foster care. 90 days for like a trial period. See if we like them and they like us. And then after those 90 days, then you can petition to adopt. So it's technically fostering, but it's a 90-day fostering thing. You can't just say, "Oh, I want to adopt a kid," and tomorrow adopt a kid. You have to go through
Is
that
it the
90-day
same thing
process.
for all ages? Like even like
all
a
ages.
baby?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, a baby can't really say, "Oh, I like that." Yeah. So, but the older kids, yes.
And I know that's probably it's harder for the older kids. Like the older a kid gets, the chance of them getting adopted goes down, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because everybody wants the baby.
Yeah, 5 and under is what people are looking for.
Yeah.
So if you go above 5 years old, I mean, even teenagers. I mean, the amount of teenagers that are in the foster care system right now in the state of Florida is astronomical.
Wow.
And so because nobody really wants older teenagers.
Yeah.
And so
That's sad.
oh, it's definitely sad. Definitely
Yeah.
sad. So there's a place that I'm connected with now. There are kids that are high school kids, and they're about to what they call phase out. So when they turn 18, now they become homeless because they're too old to be in the foster care. They're too old to be at a group home. And when they turn 18, they're just on the streets after that.
So there's no system to get like
No system
job
after that.
training. Or,
So like the normal 18-year-old that can stay living at home maybe till early 20s because they're in school, the foster kids don't have that.
No,
just you're
because
gone.
they're in foster. I mean, a lot of them are in foster homes or
Yeah.
like a group home.
Man.
And so if you're in a group home,
I didn't know that.
in foster care, you phase out at 18. So yeah, it's nuts, man. So, but to say you can, if you're interested in adoption, and I'll say this on the podcast, Tiff and I, we couldn't have kids and biological kids at all, and so we went the adoption route. And we absolutely love it. There's good times and bad times. Everybody struggles with kids.
That's
normal,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
kids,
there's kids that have kids naturally, parents that have parents naturally, and they still want to, get rid of them. I'm just kidding. Anyways, and so, but there's still, I know of lawyers in Florida and in Alabama that will waive their fees.
Wow.
Just so parents can have the opportunity to adopt because it can be costly. And all they do have to pay is court fees.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's like 500 and below. So,
Cool.
Very cool.
yeah, it's good. It's real good.
Yeah, I can
So if you guys want to talk to me, email me, rick.rodriguez@transformationchurch.com. I am a huge advocate for adoption. And
Rick No K.
yeah, Rick No K, RIC. So adoption's my heart, man.
Boom.
Yeah. I think Leah and I want to adopt in the future. I think that was a God
for real?
thing. I
Heck yeah.
didn't know how she felt whenever I was going to bring it up to her, but when I brought it up, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I felt the same way."
Do you want your own kids too?
Yeah. But like after we have our own kids, we definitely want to adopt. And I think that was a God thing. It's pretty cool. So
That is
I'm telling
cool.
you, man, we live in a society right now that there's so many kids that need a good home and people to love and to encourage them. And if I keep talking about it, I'll start crying because just thinking about my kids, we adopted them when they were 7. They were just turning 7. And to think that when they turn 18, if they were still in foster care, that they would be living on the streets. No family, no nothing.
Yeah.
I'm hearing stories of kids right now that they have there's no father figure in their life to talk about just normal dad things. There's no home life for some of these kids that are in foster care. So
Yeah.
I heard a story of a young kid. He's a young African-American kid, and the parents that adopted him were white, and they realized they didn't want a black kid. So they tried to give him back to the system. And he's like 15. I was like, oh my God.
that's wild.
Listen,
wild.
let me talk to white people for a second. Don't do that.
Right.
Do better. Not to group
that's
all white
wild.
people in one heap, but as one, we got to do better than that. Like,
Oh, man.
come on now.
This kid's a great kid.
That's
Great kid.
wild.
So I went to Tiff. I was like, what do you think? Maybe we can adopt another one. And she was like, no, let's get our two out the house first.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
No, that's cool. Well, we missed last week. We were in Beeham.
Birmingham. Yep.
We went to the art conference, and
Oh, so good.
there was some good stuff there.
Good stuff.
There was some of the same old stuff. That's always gonna happen, but there was some good stuff.
Pastor Chris Hodges nails it every
Listen,
time.
he really preached a good message.
Yeah.
It was it was an on time type.
On
of
time
message.
word.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
So,
It was
it's
good.
fantastic.
Did he give a good Boudreaux joke?
did not.
No, not a single Boudreaux joke this time. I was
Usually
kinda
at
sad.
Grow, I don't remember. Maybe at Art too, but
Yeah.
yeah, he did not. No Boudreaux.
He brought a killer word.
Yeah.
Two of my favorite people, or three. Well, of course, Chris Hodges, killer, gangster, what he does. I freaking love Tim Ross. Like, I've always watched his podcast, and I just started doing that within the last 2 weeks. But yeah, loved Tim Ross session, and then
Except for that little
except the thing that's going around on
that
TikTok
clip
right
I just
now.
saw.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, but his talk was fantastic. And then what's the other guy? He looks like a Mexican Judah Smith. He's
Chad
like,
Veach.
Chad Veach. Yeah.
My man,
So,
Chad Veach.
Yo, he killed it too, bro.
He did. It was very good.
He's tall, 6'3".
Yeah.
I was like, "What's up, dude?" Just like that. So, anyways,
Yeah.
No, that was good. And Dino Rizzo
Dino's great.
preached the opening night.
Yeah.
I mean the opening session, and it was just
and he's the new head honcho now over.
yeah, he's
Art.
the new president.
New president. Yeah,
Who was that? Greg Surratt before?
yeah.
Yeah, Dino's president. But Dino's always good. He just got a heart for missions and serving and stuff. So so I would say Dino's message, Hodges, and then Chad Veach, and then the Tim Ross breakout, and then me and Brad went to a breakout session on like multi-site that was like extremely practical.
Yeah.
Which is good. I got frustrated. at the very first breakout session I went to, just like I do at Grow. It was the title of this app session. They call them app sessions, not break. Was well, crap. Now I can't remember the name of it.
It was that forgettable.
It was like something like practical resources for executive pastors, something like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking they're going to give practical resources for executive pastors. And the dude preached a sermon, like literally. He preached a message that was tied into his background, how he got to be an executive pastor. And it was like, there was good stuff in it. Don't get me wrong. Like there was good stuff. He made some good points, but it was a message.
Like a 3-point message.
His whole message was all about serving the house and serving the person.
Yeah.
Like the pastor.
Not practical resources for
No.
executive pastor.
No. And his stuff was good. Like he said something I never heard before, but because this was the art conference, which is about church planting, it's for pastors and church planters. He said the phrase, I believe pastors are called to cities and people are called to pastors. And I was like, Meaning like he was talking about how he's called to his pastor.
Right.
That his pastor's called to the city. They're in Indianapolis or somewhere.
Gotcha.
He said, I'm
But
called
he's
to my
called to his
pastor
pastor,
to serve him and that vision. He said, I don't have the vision for our church. He does. So I'm
makes
kind of
sense.
called to that. And I was
That's
like,
good.
that's an interesting
That's
way to
good.
think
Yeah,
about it. Yeah.
good.
And, but what was the best thing out of that app session was Lane Schrantz, who's one of the big wigs at Highlands, Pastor Lane Schrantz, came up and he did a Q&A with Lane. Because Highlands doesn't have anybody they call executive pastor. Several people kind of operate in that role in different capacities. But Lane was there because he was the very first employee the Church of the Highlands had. He was in Chris Hodges' youth group when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
He was the first employee.
Yeah, he moved the whole way from Colorado.
Yeah.
To,
Yeah, he was the first employee at Highlands. And his daughter, who just graduated Highlands College,
Yep.
was the first baby in Church of the Highlands. The first
Really?
kid born was
Yeah.
his daughter.
Yeah.
The
Wow.
first hospital visit that Pastor Chris did to a baby in his church was Lane's daughter.
Wow.
So like they're like been there the whole time. Well, what he was talking about was, which was very good, and this can apply to anyone listening that's like called to serve in like in ministry in whatever capacity, but he said he was talking about how he said Pastor Chris has removed me from every position I've had. So what he was talking about was, so his daughter is now the student director at one of the campuses.
Gotcha.
And he said, Lane said, I felt a call to student ministry when I was a teenager. In my early years at Highlands, I was our youth pastor. He said, well, I'm not that anymore. I lead all of our campus pastors. He said, but I'm still called to youth ministry. Pastor Chris removed me from that one time, and I was not happy about it. But I knew like their needs were other places, and I'm called to the man, and I trusted his vision.
Yeah.
He said, but here we are years later. I'm in my 50s. My daughter, he said, every Wednesday night I show up to the Greystone campus and I check in like everybody else because I serve on my daughter's team. I'm a team member serving under my daughter who leads the youth ministry at that campus. And I'm a dream teamer. I'm not there as Pastor Lane, who's in the executive suite. You know, he's like, I'm there as a dream teamer because I'm still called to youth ministry.
That's dope.
And he was just talking about how over the years he got emotional, like because he was talking about, he said something along the lines of, it's about serving. He's like, I would clean every toilet in this building if I had to, because we used to. Talking about cleaning toilets when they were at the high school, and and he was like, it's not about your title. And he said, too many Christians, especially those who are in full-time ministry, he said my identity was never tied to the title I had because my title changed. And the analogy he used was, if you take a sword that's got two edges on it, he said, imagine grabbing the blade of a sword. He said that's like what a lot of Christians do, especially if you're in full-time ministry, especially if your identity is tied to your calling. He said, my calling is youth ministry, but my identity is not called to that, and my title changes. He said, but if I held it, the tighter you hold that, when it's pulled from you, the more it hurts and the more damage it causes. So he was talking about holding it loosely, because your title may be pulled from you, your position may be pulled from you, but maybe your calling stays the same. So it was like really good the way he worded all that. So there was some good stuff out of it, but I was ready to I had my phone out with the notes, and I'm ready to get some like practical executive pastor stuff. And the dude kind of preached a sermon that had some good points in it, but I was a little frustrated with that. And it was like 115 degrees in the room. It was so crowded. We were like, it was so crowded. We were like a kid's classroom on like these little like crap folding chairs, and it was hot, and like I was like just ready for it to be over with, But no, the conference was good. We had some good sushi one night. Rick, Rick's not we had some good sushi.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the raw whatever meat.
He finally had some raw stuff on it.
Yeah, that's just not me. Like, I don't know. So
That's the best kind.
we didn't have all
That's
that.
nasty.
We had several. I mean, we had more than a few rolls. It was good.
yeah. So anyways, I spoke in tongues a lot, and I prayed while I was eating those things. So it was great.
He did.
I only ate 2.
He missed out. It was good. It was good. So that was a good time. And then we came right back, and then had
To
to
the
go
rain.
to it poured the whole time. Then we had Justin Harrison, one of our staff member,
His wedding.
his wedding.
Shout out to Justin and Julia
Harrison.
So
Are they still on the honeymoon?
Yeah.
yeah,
They went to cabin or something. I saw.
Yeah.
Tennessee?
I
Up
went to
in
Pigeon Forge.
up where we got married, up in Knoxville area, Pigeon Forge.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's it. It's crazy. They met at TC, got married.
they did.
It's like me and my wife. TC, man.
Hey.
That's a place if you're trying to.
TC,
if you're
find
single,
salvation, you can find your spouse too.
hey,
You know what I'm
if
saying?
you're
Find
single out
Jesus
there,
and
come to
your spouse.
TC and you'll
So-
find your spouse.
Well,
Justin, I don't know what happened with him. But
it's a little different.
Yeah.
It's a little
married
different.
to the Lord.
Yeah. Well,
I don't like that at all. It sounds
he
so.
took a vow of celibacy.
He did not. No, that's so. Okay, so before we move on, we got a little thing here. So
Oh, God.
someone in our church, I guess from a couple episodes ago, they were listening to us. We were talking about. Were you here? We were talking about chips. So they brought us these different chips.
Ooh,
I'm gonna hand them to you.
cracked pepper.
Yeah. Okay. There's
My favorite
those.
kind.
really?
Pastor Brad talked about the voodoo, the zaps,
Yeah.
Zappos.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
They
and-
sell those up in Pennsylvania too.
And then we got some
one cares,
salt vinegar. Salt and vinegar.
Who likes salt and vinegar?
Me. That's me.
Oh, that's you.
You like
Yeah.
salt and
And
vinegar?
then a pickle.
Oh no,
I love pickles.
Yeah, that's you, bro.
that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What was a tapatio?
it was
Salsa picante.
yeah.
This is so racist. Somebody bought the Mexican dude Mexican pickle. Like a
Well,
Hispanic.
you are Mexican. I don't know if it's
True.
racist.
Uh,
Is it racist if it's true?
maybe not.
Is it racist if it's not offensive? This is a deep conversation. We'll
It is
move
kinda
on.
deep.
I don't want to.
Yeah, that's a
I don't get
Conversation
offended
for
by
another
much
time.
though, because I give it out like everybody else does. So
Here, we'll put this back. This was from.
no, I was excited about this.
I was just putting it
gonna
back.
start eating it.
Well, not on the thing.
Oh.
You'd be crunching in the mic. Yeah.
It's true.
ASMR.
Thank you for
Thank
for
you,
that.
whoever
That
bought
was
those gifts
Miss
for us.
Sherry.
Cherie or Sherry?
Sherry Franklin.
Sherry Franklin and her
Oh.
husband.
Oh yeah,
It was them. It's not
that's so
Cherie, is it? It's Sherry.
No, it's Sherry.
Sherry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he brought that last Sunday, and then we didn't record last week. So, anyways, they liked our chip conversation.
That's awesome.
We were talking about all the Pringles and the flavor of chips. That was a good conversation.
It really was.
It really was. So, anyways, where are we at? We didn't. You got to preach week before last,
I did.
and
That was fun.
that went pretty good.
Yeah.
Watched online.
People came back, so
So people came back.
Nate got saved.
you need to
Look,
put that up
online,
to your,
too,
Put that
yeah.
up to your thing. Yeah.
One of the things that I loved, I love communicating. But probably my favorite thing that's happened so far was the girl that I baptized yesterday. Her first Sunday was the day that I preached.
A week ago.
A week ago. She got saved and she signed up for baptism
No
all in the
way.
same week. Yeah.
Oh,
And
cool.
so, it
That's
was
wild.
just like really, really neat because, we get these lists and I'm like, I don't know who half these people are still.
Yeah.
So I went and I began to talk to her and I met her and she just gave me a hug and I was like, so how long have you been at TT? She was like, just a week. I go, oh my goodness, wow. She goes, you preached, I got saved, I gave my heart to Christ, I'm ready to do this thing. So
That's
I
cool.
was like, wow.
That's
And so I got a
awesome.
chance to baptize her and she got emotional. I got started tearing up too. And so
Very
it was
cool.
really good.
Well, the baptisms were cool yesterday because two dads
Oh man, yeah.
got to baptize their
Yeah.
kids. So
Yeah.
we do that. We do that. I think that's just cool.
That's cool.
I mean,
That's awesome.
who better than your
And your dad.
than
to
your
baptize
dad? That just shows good leadership in the home and all those things. So that was cool.
you. Oh yeah.
And it's cool, like Kevin, Kevin Robbins. I've known Kevin since he was he was probably 14, 15. He used to be in the student ministry, and now, he's got a few kids of his own and baptizing them. That's just cool.
Yeah,
So
we had a
Oh.
student get baptized.
you did, yeah.
Student and someone on our students team get baptized. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That is
pretty
cool.
dope.
So
We had 11 total baptisms.
11 total
I think we've had
baptized. 39 baptisms this year. Yep.
That's before yesterday's
That was
number.
before yesterday. So 39 plus 11.
50.
50.
Yeah, 50.
Wow.
Man.
Not even good at math, guys. So
Yeah, so no, it was that was good when you preached last week. That was, if you missed that, go back. It's on our YouTube or the podcast. Listen to that. Rick's I've always known Rick to be a good preacher. He was real good back in the day. You were a creative preacher with
Yeah.
all the, like, in the youth group world,
yeah, and the youth group role with dramas humor
and
videos,
all that
skits,
stuff.
all
yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's how I
thought about resurrecting some of that for
That-
this time
yeah.
here, but I was like, nah, we'll just let that die.
That-
Yeah,
I'd
maybe
have
that's
loved
what
it.
to say.
I would have loved
Yeah.
that. I'd be like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, like have like an old like a Linkin Park song that you're doing.
Oh,
that you're
yeah,
doing
Linkin Park.
that you're doing a drama to.
I used to love writing dramas.
You
Yeah.
did.
I still love critiquing them still to this day and coaching.
Does anyone do that anymore?
There's a handful. That some people will still call me to ask me to write, or else they'll, if there's an opening, I will come and judge and nationals or
So if you don't know, like, human videos is what we called them.
yeah.
It's like you took a song, generally a lot of times it was a secular song even. And then
That was mine.
you write a drama around the song, and it can be very powerful.
Can be, yeah.
If you do it right, it can be very powerful. It's very 10 years ago youth groupy,
Yeah.
but
100%.
but at the time, they were.
What's that face for, John? Like,
John said like he said like he didn't like it or something.
I was around it. That's the reason why I'm laughing.
Now listen, y'all had this kid at Destiny the MMA kid.
Yeah.
Remember that year at the competition that y'all
yeah.
won? The whole skit, he's doing like the whole MMA thing and like flipping over kids, and it was all like choreographed. Was like
He was second ranked in the world. He was a blue belt.
Wow.
And so he had just won the Nagi tournament, the no-gi whatever tournament, whatever, in Atlanta. And so we wrote this entire drama around him doing MMA
against the
martial arts.
demons.
Yeah,
and
against
stuff.
demons and stuff.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
He chokeslammed the devil and put him in an armbar. It was fantastic. So,
Yeah,
Yo.
we had to find that on YouTube.
Yeah, we
we'll
will,
have to
we
find
will.
that. If we
Yeah.
find it, we'll link
So-
it in the thing, in the notes or in the
it was
description.
nuts. It was nuts.
That's
Shout out to my boy Justin. He is fantastic. So
I remember that because y'all did that at we were all in a denomination, so every year they had competition.
Yeah.
So like worship for like Talent Quest was for all the youth groups around the state in the denomination.
Gotcha.
They would compete in different categories.
yeah, we went to nationals with that.
And they won all the time.
Yeah, we went to nationals, and then we won nationals for that drama, and then we won nationals for like a skit that we all wrote. So it was fun.
And we used to have this guy at our church that would always compete against Will at your church, and they used to always compete. And what was his name at ours? Tony guitar player. Tony plays guitar like John Mayer.
He's a gangster, bro.
Tony plays guitar like John Mayer.
Yeah.
Not as good as a vocalist though as Will. We all know Will Thornton, our buddy.
Yeah.
Will's just
Shout out Will.
Will's so anointed leading worship.
Yeah.
And he's simpler on the guitar, but the whole thing. And so Tony would lose a good bit to Will every.
It's just Will's voice. Will has a phenomenal voice.
Will's good.
And so, and then he did a lot of songs that he wrote himself.
Yeah.
For those competitions. And so, but now he's a worship pastor in Prattville for Real Life Church, Pastor Joey Elski. Shout out to that group. And Will's just killing it, man. He's married now, has a couple of kids, one on the way. So,
Oh yeah, that's right. They got another one, and he sells insurance or something. He's in the insurance world.
so we're going to bring back dramas. I'm going to write one for a summer sermon starting now.
You should.
Good luck.
Yeah, summer soundtracks.
Yeah,
We'll
summer
just-
soundtrack. Yeah,
We'll just go ahead and approve that without telling.
without Pastor
PB,
Brad. Yeah, he's gone that week anyways. That whole month. So.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
the-
he's still around. I
He's still
think.
around, but he won't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he just had to.
PB, if you're listening, just ignore that for a moment. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that would be funny though. Those were the thing though. I mean, listen.
We open up, bro. Come on now.
Hey.
And now we have I have Chris Carty, like as a lighting director. If I would have had him, oh my goodness.
Man, listen.
I'm bringing him back. I'm sorry.
That is
I'm bringing him
wild.
back. So
Anyways.
yeah. Anyways, sorry.
So that was good. We wrapped up yesterday the
Ooh.
Name tag
name tag
series.
series.
yeah, very good series. I think a lot of people can resonate with the idea of that series.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think even like I don't deal with some of that as much as maybe others and all the time, but everyone deals with that at some point or another. Where it's like,
Yeah.
even if you feel like, a little bit of a like as an Enneagram 3, we kind of deal with imposter syndrome sometimes. So even that applies. It's like the whole thing was just was good. What y'all think?
I teared up when Pastor Brad made the comment that he said struggling to connect with God is an identity problem more than a proximity problem.
Yeah, that was good.
Because even as a minister for years, would tell people I got caught up into that. Just pray about it. Just pray about it.
Yeah.
Right. And then I would do the same thing in my own time struggling, trying to connect with God. I would pray, but I wasn't finding that connection with God. And so I remember when he said that, it just brought me back to so many times that I was like on my face, seeking God, praying for chariots of fire to come down and angels to surround me. And here I am trying my best to connect to God with this proximity, but at the same time, forgetting that it really was about my identity.
Yeah.
Who I was as a son, trying to connect with God versus I'm going to do whatever I can to try to get God to love me or get God to hear me. And so, man, the moment he said that, I started tearing up. I'm like, wow, it just reminded me of how far I've come in my walk with Christ, that it's not so much based on this feeling or an emotion. But at the same time, I'm to seek God by choice as a son of the King, as an heir to the throne of God, versus I need to get God to love me by trying to do all this other crazy stuff. So
Well, you said something interesting, and that was even one of the worship songs yesterday. There's a line in there about I won't be something with feelings. How's it go?
Which one? The second or third song?
If the cross brings transformation, I'll be crucified. That song.
It is done. It is finished by Passion or whatever.
no.
No.
Oh, then Christ be magnified.
Christ be magnified.
Okay.
Yeah, like I might need the lyrics,
I'm looking it up now.
but
Oh, Christ be magnified.
I don't know if it's that one.
I mean, those are
Do y'all know?
Those are the two songs that we sang after the first one.
Wait, so are you talking about the
I won't be
bridge?
formed by feelings. I'll hold on to what is true.
And the cross brings transformation. I'll be crucified with you.
I think that's the line. So, but I like that. It's like it's not about the like how I, not about the feelings. Like
Right.
in that kind of what you're saying is like people's gonna feel like God's not close to them today. That doesn't mean that's the truth is He's not far from you, even though
Yeah.
you
Right.
feel like He is.
Right.
Yeah.
But then it goes back to what PB said yesterday is that even in the moments where he's silent, he's still working on our behalf. Right.
Right.
I mean, and that's, I hope whoever's listening today and was at service yesterday, if you're struggling with hearing God, if you're struggling with feeling God in those moments, listen, when you don't feel Him, right, you don't see Him working in public, He's still making moves in private that you have no idea about.
Yeah.
Well,
That was just a game changer.
it goes back to almost like the whole idea of like the sovereignty of God in a sense.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember if it was you or it wasn't yesterday, I don't think, in his message, but maybe it was a couple weeks ago or maybe it was when you preached. It was almost like a country song reference. Like he almost like referenced Garth Brooks, like some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. And he didn't use that song obviously, but he talked about like, what if God answered every prayer you prayed back in the day? You know, like
Yeah.
you went through a
Yeah.
breakup and you're like, and you're like glad.
Yeah, I said that whenever I was talking about thank God for unanswered prayers, because every time that if we prayed, He would have answered something.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So it's almost like, and that's a Garth Brooks song. It's a good song. Like
Yeah.
some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. And I think the song, he talks about past relationships, you know, but it's like, how true is that even when you're praying with all you have for something, in His sovereignty knows what's coming is better. And,
Right.
and doesn't answer that. And in not answering the prayer, He's answering the prayer.
Right.
Because what you're praying for is maybe that connection, that person, the love that you thought you have with this one person, not knowing it's going to be better with the next.
Yeah.
Right.
So even though you didn't answer the prayer, you ultimately are getting what you wanted in that prayer.
Right.
Yep.
And that's weird to think. It's like that's like a mind blower.
Right. But I think so many times we get lost when we don't feel God in worship, but we don't get the goose bumps or the goose pimples, whatever people call it, the Holy Ghost pimples and or the Holy Ghost bumps, whatever. And we don't have those feel good moments, but yet God is still working. Right. And so I think that's where I used to get lost whenever when I first gave my life to Christ, and I wouldn't feel God move every time, and I was struggling doing certain things. I would go through the checklist. Okay, God, do I have sin in my life? Is this going wrong? And I would go through the checklist. I'm actually good. Like, I don't have this sin. I'm doing great here. So God, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And I had to come to the understanding that God is saying, listen, you're going to have those valley seasons. You're going to have those moments where you don't feel my presence. You're going to have those moments to where I need you to depend upon me for who I am, not because you have a worship song, not because you have AirPods, not because you have this, but yet you're still leaning into me for who I am, not because what I'm doing for you. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So,
That's good.
Yeah.
anyways, if you're here today and you're listening, and I'll kind of give you the direct quote is, don't underestimate what God is doing in private to prepare you for the new version of you. And so I'm telling you, man, that God's working. He's still moving on your behalf. And so yeah.
Yeah, then he made the next point after that was more about at TC, we want to declare who you are, not who you've been.
Yeah.
You know, and that was real important. Again, like for all of this, we're gonna go on fast just because neither one of us preached it, but like we always say, go watch it, listen to it. Very good. But we care more about the person God says you are versus who maybe you've been.
Right.
And here's what I find interesting. let's talk about this. I was thinking about this morning in the shower. Because you think about weird stuff. Why are you laughing? I mean, in the Christian, in leadership, when you're in a leader position,
Yep.
we see in people the potential that a lot of times people don't see in themselves.
Yep.
Do we as leaders, and maybe more specific as Christian leaders, do we love the potential we see in people more than we love that person? And it was like a convicting question in my head of like, could I care and love the people I lead right where they're at if I didn't know the potential they had? You know what I'm saying? Because like, especially student ministry, like you're doing it now, you did it forever. Me and John both did it. Like with some of these kids, you see this amazing potential. Like you have no idea how good you could be at this if you just focus, or you know. And it's like, do we pour into these people for the potential, or can we just love them right where they're at, regardless of that potential? That was kind of the question went in my head, and it was a strange question.
No, I mean, and I think we can do both as long as we're pouring into them for them, not for us.
Okay,
because
yeah,
we've been guilty. I've been guilty of pouring into somebody knowing that they would give me a good return whenever they reach their potential. Yeah. And even on their way up, reaching their potential, I know that they would do stuff great for the youth group. They would make the youth group grow bigger. They could bring all this other stuff. So at the end of the day, it was almost a prideful thing. I'm pouring into you, but I was doing it really for me.
Yeah, and that's good.
So I think if you could find the balance to say, I'm going to pour into you and challenge you because of your potential, but because I love you for you, not what you can do for me.
Almost like, let's use the analogy, like if this person we're talking about could be a good communicator, or maybe like an evangelist. Right. Like the reason we're pouring into you is because you're going to impact the kingdom, not grow the church. Right. Not grow our church or my church or whatever. Right. It's because you're going to grow the kingdom. Like that's the difference in the mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's funny is that I had my first meeting this morning was at 9:00, and I went to their house, and it was the Harvilles. And so, by the way, I showed up and she gave me like a Filipino breakfast. It was like lumpia with fried rice.
Lord Jesus.
It was awesome. So, but
sound like a Filipino dinner too.
But Brian made the comment, and he goes, I have been in so many churches, but I've never heard a senior pastor or a lead pastor say and do what Pastor Brad did yesterday. And he brought up the fact that Pastor Brad was talking, and he challenged all of us as leaders, as directors, as coaches.
We were in a leadership meeting.
Yeah, we were in a leadership all staff meeting. And he said, I've never had a senior pastor talk about it is your responsibility to replace yourself. To work yourself out of a job. And so it kind of goes back to what you were talking about. Like if our goal is, if we see potential in somebody who's an evangelist or teacher, communicator, whatever it is, we train them up knowing that they could replace us, and we can champion that with that. Yep. And we give this, hey, all for the glory of God. That's it, right? This is going to be for the glory of God. And we're going to champion you the whole way through.
That's good.
So yeah. But I think for us as leaders, the one thing that we have to get better at, and if you're a leader watching this, I think we have to get better at calling destructive patterns out of leaders, our people that we're discipling and stuff, because it doesn't matter how much potential that we have, destructive patterns ruin and destroy great potential. So if we're discipling, if we're pouring into people, we got to be able to call those things out, not out of to tear them down, but to build them up, because we do see the potential. I think, oh, well, listen, I'm gonna call this out. So then all of a sudden they're not going to reach this potential here. Yeah. But if you care about them enough and you love them enough, those destructive things in their life that can ruin their potential, that's when we got to call out and speak life to those things and challenge and encourage and to grow them in that. So
that's good.
So yeah,
it's good.
It's not part of the sermon, but
no, it wasn't. But hey, like we said, go watch or listen to the message from yesterday. Good stuff.
Oh, it was fantastic.
And then this Sunday we'll have a new sermon series. John, yes.
Yeah, what's it called?
It's called Renewed.
Renewed. And then, man, I can't believe we're already like into May. Can you believe that?
Speaking of May, do you know what's happening this Friday? What date is so important this Friday?
Cinco de Mayo.
Hello, somebody.
No one cares.
We're all going to eat tacos somewhere.
Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo.
I would love to eat tacos.
We're gonna go-
But I don't need to do that just to sink into my hook, just because I love tacos.
That's true, but you always eat.
I want to go Saturday and eat crawfish
It's gonna
somewhere.
be May.
This past Saturday.
No, I want to go this coming Saturday and eat crawfish somewhere. I was going to go to the crawfish festival Saturday, but it was like raining all day, so I didn't go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually they're expensive. I'd rather go to
So
Cubs.
far, the best crawfish I've had in town is Cubs crawfish.
Cubs is fantastic.
Yeah.
Remember that time we went?
Yeah.
That was good.
Was that your first time?
That was my first time. Yeah.
Eating crawfish?
Eating crawfish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you even eat crawfish? Because
Yeah.
He did.
you're so
Yeah.
particular with
Nah.
stuff.
I eat
Me and Nate and Tommy and
Jawan and one of my students.
yeah, that's right. We all went.
Yeah. It was a good time.
I had a meeting at Cubs like last week.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
We need to go Saturday.
Let's go Saturday.
After-
Boys.
after-
We'll figure out after our
After-
Bellevue.
Oh, that's Saturday.
That's this
Reimagine
Saturday.
Bellevue.
Reimagine
Oh,
Bellevue.
you're
Register mytc.life.
Yeah, go to My TC Life. So we probably have 20 or so registered. We probably need at least 15 more.
Yeah.
Reimagine Bellevue is great. We're gonna give out. I don't know how many thousands of pounds of food it is.
It was so
2,200, right? I think.
2,200 pounds.
Yeah.
2,200. That's it.
Maybe 25,000.
I think it's more like
25,000.
25,000.
Yeah.
It's a semi.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is my first one ever.
Yeah.
So
It was a fun time.
It's good. We give out a whole lot of food. So the Reimagine events are cool in general because they do other stuff too.
Yeah.
For the community that's all there. But we're handling the food distribution.
Yeah.
So last year, I mean, we had
There's
we had a
lot
lot
of
of potatoes left over last year. I remember that.
a lot of potatoes.
But
yeah.
it's cool. It's cool. So yeah, that's gonna be Saturday. So you get the opportunity to serve. If you hadn't
7 to 1.
7 to 1.
Yeah. 7 to 1.
Thought I said 9 to 1. 7 to 1.
The food gets there at 7.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, I think the
Gotcha.
event starts at
9.
9.
9.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we have to like set up everything. But
up.
you were there last year, right?
yeah, it was a good time.
I like
It was a
serving
fun
like
time.
that.
Yeah.
You know, so that'll be fun. So if you want to come help us out, you want to serve the community, yeah,
Do
please
bring
register.
sunscreen.
Bring some
Bring
sunscreen.
sunscreen.
Generally, there's water. Well, I think there's water.
There's water
We provide.
chips, Gatorade for like people that are serving and stuff.
Yeah, so we'll make sure you don't get over getting dehydrated or something.
Yeah.
So-
Are you coming, John?
Yeah.
You'll be there.
I have to be.
Do you?
No,
You get to be.
No, actually, as
John.
a paid employee, I have to be there.
Because we don't have to do this.
We get
We
to
get
do this,
to.
John.
Yes and amen.
No, we get
Culture.
to do this in general. but
Culture-
I have to be there because I'm getting paid.
That's an off day.
paid
That's not a
staff
work
member.
day.
Culture is king.
That's
No,
an
it's
off
not.
day.
Jesus is king and culture is everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had to correct you there.
Culture eats vision for breakfast. There you go.
Culture eats strategy for breakfast.
Hey, is there something wrong with your neck? Why do you keep looking back like that?
What do you mean? I'm looking back like a normal person.
No, you aren't.
There's
You've
nothing
gotten
about
two
you
key
normal.
things wrong today. Like,
What do you mean? I'm never wrong. So
What?
we're praying for you.
What are you drinking over there?
Monster.
And Rick's got his
Alani. This is
Alani.
Arctic White. They were out of
Cosmic Stardust.
Cosmic Stardust, which is one of my favorites of all time.
that's the Skittle one.
The Skittle one, yeah. That you said is not like Skittles. But
Well, no, once we determined it was we were not talking about the red bag Skittles.
Okay,
I could
that's true.
see what you're coming from.
and what's so funny is I got a chance to witness Pastor Brad in his OCD eat Skittles,
Eat Skittles, yeah,
on the trip.
yeah.
It was so funny.
It's,
Absolutely.
it's real stupid. I mean, it's stupid.
Like I'm driving, I see him like picking through the Skittles.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, Pastor Brad. So, but
Rick was the chauffeur.
yeah.
Rick likes to drive on trips.
I love to drive because I personally feel like I'm a better driver.
Control
than everybody
freak.
else.
That's
You're
why.
wrong, but
Control freak.
I am a control freak, 100%.
he likes to listen. I used to do a lot of the driving just because I don't mind it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but because he likes to, like, I'll just sit. I let Brad ride shotgun. He's bigger than me, so I just sat in the back. I had all the room. I
Get
was
to be the
sprawled.
passenger princess.
I was sprawled out.
Oh no, he's PYP president in that car. Hey driver, take me home. Hey driver, take me to Church of the Highlands. And I'm like,
I did
what
say
in the
that.
world?
I did say that. Hey,
Did
driver.
you guys drive it out to the wedding on Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
yeah,
did.
I figured. I was like, that's
still
not
had
a
it.
normal vehicle that y'all drive.
No, we still had it till 9. That's why we had to leave early though. We had to leave earlier
okay.
to because I still had to return it.
So we
today.
are carpooled. Saved me on gas.
Yeah, we all.
So
yeah, that was another
fantastic.
reason was instead of us all driving. So
Yeah.
So
An hour. So
it was a expedition.
yeah.
It was pretty nice.
So yeah, all week all I heard was, "Hey driver, take me here."
driver.
So
we did learn that the expedition is a better driving vehicle than the Tahoe.
Really?
did. Absolutely.
Wow.
I would agree when I picked it up.
I'm gonna have to get me one then.
Did you request the expedition this time, and you got the car that you requested?
I didn't
or-
request something. I just the category, the SUV category.
But for now on, I will get an expedition. For now on, I will
Really?
request one. I liked it better. The handling was better.
The handling was
drive was better.
was-
Smoother.
it was real
It was
comfortable. It
quieter
was nice.
than
Yeah.
the Tahoe.
Yeah, it was
So,
Really?
very nice car.
very
Wow.
nice. So
Very nice car. Yeah.
I struggled with putting back the sunroof. I was
Oh yeah, they don't.
me and Pastor Brad were like, "How do you do this?" And Just is like, "Just hit this button, guys." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, there was two separate buttons."
Yeah, they're just I don't know.
So, anyways,
And it what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought.
I don't know, but it was an honor.
Oh, we get a the reason we rent the car. I mean, we could have drove. I like to rent the car so we don't put
Don't
the
tell
miles
our
and stuff.
secrets, though.
I have someone gave me
That's better.
a corporate one of these big company the corporate code
Mm.
for their a corporate account. So it's the disc for Hertz rental car. It's like stupid reduced.
Wow.
So I had to create a Hertz account when this happened. So I have a Hertz account, obviously, so you can reserve. But then you go put in this number, this corporate code, and it's like
Ridiculously cheap.
stupid cheap
Yeah.
compared to the normal daily rate of like a Tahoe or an Expedition.
Huh.
So like that's one of the reasons we rent it. It's like
Yeah.
it's not a whole lot of money, and then like we're not crammed into one. I mean, I wouldn't want to ride out there in your backseat of your car, your truck.
Why?
It's just smaller than like I have the Jeep.
Yeah, I
have
wouldn't even
the-
call that a truck. It's
Yeah,
Whatever. I get made fun of.
and I definitely ain't riding in Brad's truck.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
no.
You know, and then I have the Jeep.
I don't even think
have
you would even drive
the
that
Grand
thing up to
Cherokee.
Birmingham.
That's not the most comfortable for whoever's got to be in the back of that if I'm driving. You know, so it's
not
just.
too bad. But
I mean, for 4 hours, you know, it's just it's
It's not too bad.
I don't want to put the miles on.
20-minute ride.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to put the miles on it. So it's like stupid cheap though with this corporate code. So shout out to my friend who gave us that.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. Yeah. So
But next time
was a good time.
next conference I go to, I'm just going to just take like this little black suit, and I'm just going to wear a little hat as I chauffeur the president of the PYP around, and
Hey, listen.
and then I'm going to have like this little security thing. Be like, the eagle
Hey,
has landed.
listen.
The eagle has landed. So
I don't know what to tell you. It's, it is what it is.
top 100, ladies and gentlemen, right here.
Number 100.
Number 100.
Number 100.
Yeah.
Most powerful.
Last on the list, but by golly,
You made the list. You
by
made the
golly.
list. So
And I'm going on vacation tomorrow.
Nashville.
Nashville, Tennessee. Here I come.
you deserve it.
I'm taking a few days off, boys. I mean, I'll be accessible if you need me, but please dean me. You know,
What?
like you know,
So what does that mean for us while he's gone?
Partay.
I don't know. I will say that. Never mind. I'll talk about it later.
oh, like I'm really gonna try to decompress.
You need
I'm
to.
trying to disconnect and decompress a little bit. So I am gonna take my computer because I can't get away from it all. Like I'm working on these bylaws, and I'm just so into this project right now that I want to finish. But
Sticky note his whole office when he gets back.
no.
Yeah, that's for childish people.
I'll be so mad.
You do that, Nate, you will not have a job.
I will be so. I literally don't do that. Like I'm telling you.
I learned that from Craig Rochelle's podcast. He talked about practical jokes in the office and stuff.
Yeah, well, Craig Gershell ain't here.
Speaking about jokes, can we talk about the joke PB had on Sunday about the Claire and the angel and the girl who had 10?
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Okay, so okay,
How old are you?
I literally don't understand that. I heard it 3 times.
The girl was told she had 10 years to live.
Yes.
So she
And
said,
the girl's name was Claire.
Well, we didn't know that until the end.
Right.
Yeah, right. So, told her got 10 years to live. So she's like, well, I'm going to go live it up the last 10 years.
Yes.
And she went and got like
Lips and hips.
lips, hips, and
Fingertips.
you know,
Yeah.
got all this stuff done. And so she didn't look like her old self.
Okay.
So then she got hit by the bus and
8
gets to
months in.
heaven. She's like,
Yeah.
I thought you said you had 10 years. The angel's like, Claire? He didn't recognize her. That's why she didn't look
She got
like Claire
killed.
anymore. She had too much
didn't look
work,
like Claire.
Too much work done. She had like too much
so
work
she
done.
like looked like somebody else. Oh,
Right. Claire had 10 years. And
Claire-
because she changed her look,
The angel, they didn't realize that it was Claire.
right.
Oh,
Claire looked like Wanda. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's why she died.
It's almost playing along the lines of like, you've heard like the little jokes or whatever, like ladies, if you went missing and your picture had to go on the milk box, no one's gonna recognize you because of all the makeup and the eyelashes,
All the
and
filters
the
on Instagram.
filters and all that stuff. So
I did not get that. I heard it 3 times. So
Did you find it funny at all? Did you find it funny, Nate?
I mean, I laughed because everybody else was laughing, but I
You
didn't,
gave a
I
courtesy
didn't
laugh
get
to
it.
our pastor, basically.
Yeah, because I didn't understand
Oh,
what
okay, got it.
what it meant.
Hope you listen to this, PB.
do you get it now? Then does
no,
it make sense?
I get it now. It makes sense, but I mean,
Is it funny though? Right now, is it funny for you? Is it funny, Nate?
Was our pastor and your boss's joke funny, Nate?
yeah.
5 seconds to answer that. So,
Oh, that was a good one.
That was a
Pastor
good knee
Brad.
flapper.
Yeah. Wow, that was hilarious.
It wasn't the funniest joke I've ever heard. You know.
no, it wasn't.
I mean, I didn't even understand it. So
Well, I'm glad you do now. I'm glad we can bring clarity
yeah.
to your inability to recognize jokes.
I mean, if I didn't get it, I can only imagine anybody 26 and under not understanding the joke.
Like everyone's dumb.
Wait, what? No, I don't know. I guess.
It was a real simple joke. I mean, I'll start with that.
Is it one that has been circulating the
No, I mean it's not
Christian
like
arena for a while?
no.
No.
What?
It's
Is that
just
a joke that has been around for a while, or?
It's just simple. No, it's not been around.
No, but it was a great joke to go with our identity sermon series.
Her identity.
Gotcha.
Thank God.
Nate.
Gotcha.
Lee, if you're watching,
No, Claire wasn't it Claire?
Yeah.
Claire,
Claire.
was not looking and acting like Claire.
Gotcha.
Claire's turned into someone else.
Gotcha.
Fake eyelashes,
somebody
Now
that
how
you
it
used to
ties
know.
makeup,
Yeah, I see
hips,
how it
lips,
tied into the
fingertips.
Yeah.
identity.
You know,
portion.
and then
She
and
became somebody else.
then,
Because
right.
our proximity to God isn't.
Okay, you're never going to preach again. And
First Wednesday this week, guys.
First Wednesday this week.
Come to the
First
first Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It's gonna be an interesting
it's going to be
night.
a great night.
It's gonna be worship, prayer,
Worship and
communion.
prayer, vision for the future, things like that.
Yeah.
Vince and the team, man, they have a killer set list ready to rock and roll.
When I saw that list this morning, I was like, man, I kind of hate that I'm missing.
Yeah.
Honestly,
That's great.
between Adam and
So-
Anna,
Yeah.
Adam's a monster.
he's so good.
So good.
He's so good.
So good.
Having him back has been good. Back on the mic, but
He kind of reminds me of Will Thornton. Just as far as like
the humble factor.
the voice, the skill level on the guitar.
I don't know
How
about the
he
humble
leads.
side of him. He's
Adam's humble.
Yeah. But how he leads, how he transitions between songs, like
Yeah.
just sensitive to the Holy Spirit.
And he's an engineer.
Yeah.
That's wild. Good for him.
What does that do with Will
What is
Thornton?
that?
yeah. What does that have anything to do with it?
No, Adam.
I know. What does that do with Will?
Oh, I was just saying. He's,
Oh.
he's just a great guy.
He's comparing to
Adam,
Will.
you're a great guy.
Yeah, no.
Well, he just reminds me of Will.
Oh, yeah,
Just
yeah.
How he leads and how he sings and things like that. And he's just sensitive to the Holy Spirit and how I love his transitions. I love how he goes between songs and how he encourages the congregation to worship. And so he's just a monster, man. He's
Sometimes he's the most impressive when he's not singing and he's on the back line with his electric guitar and he hitting some of these licks sometimes. And it's just like, if you're not, you got to listen for it. When I heard that one day, I heard that and I was like, what is that? And I looked and he had that slide out on the, what's that song?
I can't even think.
Gratitude
what
or
it's called.
something?
No, it's
Graves in the
okay.
Gardens.
Graves in the Garden.
Graves in the Gardens. But he had the slide on us, doing a slide. And I was like, this dude, just
Brilliant.
He's great.
he's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Very good.
Man of all trades.
What time is first Wednesday? 6:30?
6:30.
6:30?
6:30. You're gonna do communion.
So
Communion.
first Wednesday, 6:30. Come out to that. It'll be a good time. I won't be here, unfortunately. I'll be in the Nashville.
And we got Rally Day popping.
Oh, I wonder if I could visit a church on Wednesday night in Nashville. I wonder if the Belonging Co. does anything.
The Belonging Co. There's a new pastor that's like my age.
Well, someone said
in the
there's an arc, something called Legacy Church or something.
Yeah.
Is in Nashville. I was gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up. So maybe I can visit somebody.
If you like tacos, Moss Tacos in Nashville, killer.
Do you know where in Nashville?
It's in the hood.
See, I'm not driving anywhere. I'm downtown, so I'm gonna be.
Take an Uber. It's worth
I
it.
guess okay.
He's gonna be in the Ritz
It's worth it.
Carlton.
Listen, I remember we went for the first time and Tiffany was kind of scared. She was like, babe, this is a little sketchy. I said, some of the sketchiest places have some of the best food.
Absolutely.
But Moss Tacos, and then right across the street, it's a place called The Pharmacy. And they have if you like old school orange sherbet, like the push pops and stuff, they have like this smoothie type thing there.
Wow.
Milkshake
Toilet
thing,
paper roll.
Fantastic. So hit up Moss Tacos. You can do that for lunch and do the Pharmacy for dessert. And then for dinner, go have a burger at the Pharmacy, which was really, really good as well. So
Ooh.
those are the two places we eat at all the time when we go to Nashville.
I'm like 2 blocks off of Broadway.
And then Chewy's.
2 blocks off of Broadway. Chewy's. That's a chain.
I know, but it's still fantastic.
It is good.
So,
I'm not gonna eat at a chain while I'm there. Hopefully.
but they got street corn at Moss Tacos, like old school street corn.
So I was gonna bring like a nice shirt because they got a you know the JW Marriott hotels. It's a luxury line of Marriott. One of the tall buildings in downtown. They got a rooftop steakhouse that is like all glass, overlooks the city.
Oh,
they say
beautiful.
it's dope, and they say it's a little
Pricey?
They say it's up there, but it's like I looked at reviews online and it's like killer reviews, like best steak in Nashville type thing.
Wow.
And I was like, I think about maybe just going up there.
Just do it. Just do
You
it.
only live once. YOLO.
YOLO.
Just do it.
You know,
Is that? Do people still say YOLO?
no.
No.
Okay, that shows my age.
Because I'm going for free. I mean, this trip has only cost me $10 so far for a flight and a hotel for 3
All
nights.
your points that you do
Points,
with
Yeah.
American Express.
We used those when we went up to Pennsylvania a week ago. Our points.
bro.
Yeah.
Well,
I need to jump on that
The
wagon.
flight I had a credit from last year from Southwest, which is one of the reasons I chose Nashville because I only had like $198 credit. So I was looking for somewhere that I could get a direct flight from Pensacola, so it's cheaper. And Nashville is a direct flight from Pensacola, so I had a credit with them still. So I technically I paid for that, but that was a year ago, and it was a credit they owed me. They messed up on one of my flights, whatever. But then points. Here's the thing: if you're an American Express user with points, did you get in on that yet?
Not yet.
You
Not
got my
yet.
link?
Yeah, I got your link. Tiff and I
Use
are
my-
supposed to do it
use-
ASAP.
Here's my link. You'll get a whole lot of points.
I was about to use Chris Cardi's link, and then he comes and he's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, no, of course
said,
I
"No,
was first.
you're gonna
Yeah,
use
the
mine."
Cardi get in line. You'll get a whole lot of points. No, but listen, the part you got to check when you want to use points. So I have a Marriott account with like the rewards. Same with Hilton. Whatever. They all let you trade points between each other. Hilton and American Express are running a deal for every point. American Express point, it's worth 2 points at Hilton instead of a 1-for-1. So I use Amex points, but I transferred them to my Hilton account and did it through Hilton. So like I only needed like 80,000 points or 100,000 points or whatever it was. I think I needed 100,000 points on the Hilton for 3 nights at this hotel. I had 20,000. So I needed like 60 more thousand. But I only had to use 30,000 Amex points because it was times 2.
Right.
So it's a deal. I mean, it's just there's so many like they work these deals in there. So it's like, man, I got I had to pay you have to pay like some kind of a fee you have to pay for. So it's like $10, literally $10 and some change. So got the flight, got the hotel, and it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat.
Points.
Hard to beat.
Hard to beat. So
Hard to beat.
yeah. So I'm gonna go try and enjoy myself a little bit. Walking around town. Somebody was like, "You're going by yourself?" And I was like, "Honestly, yeah, I don't mind it.
Come on,
I'll walk around.
do it.
I'll, see the city. I imagine one of those 3 days, I might leave the hotel to go eat or get food, but like I may just like sleep in, chill out. You know what I mean? Like just disconnect a little bit. You know.
on.
So
That's dope.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Dope.
And Ryan Teague is there, so I was gonna hit Ryan up one night for dinner.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's true. I told him when he was here at Easter that I'm coming up in a few weeks, so I'm gonna hit him up. We'll, he's got friends and stuff up there if we want to like do something other than dinner, but at least just eat or something. But
That's cool.
Ryan Teague's cool. So,
He is.
anyways, let's get up out of here.
All right.
It's been fun. It's been real.
It's been real fun.
Ain't been real fun. Glad you're with us today, even though Brad's out. Nick.
So you're saying our presence wasn't.
I don't know
real
where
fun.
Nick. No. Oh, Rick. I took the N from Nate and Rick, and I said Nick. Nate, thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Where can they go to?
I'm glad you asked.
Your anytime.
If you want to learn
Anything
more
for you.
about who we are, go to transformationchurch.com or at Transformation Pensacola on all the socials, including YouTube and TikTok.
Yep.
We're there. And what else do we say?
I think that's it.
Does that all we say? Boom. I'm like a pro at this.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, share. You'll be glad you did. It'll be put a little extra treasure in your crown in heaven.
What?
So we'll see you Wednesday for first Wednesday.
Come the first Wednesday.
And then Sunday.
And then Saturday, for serving.
Reimagine Bellevue.
Yeah, and then
Reimagine.
Sunday
So,
it'll be a new series and group rally. Boom.
Rally Day.
Rally
Boom.
day.
Small groups.
5 small groups. So y'all have a good week. We'll see you next time.
Later.
Bye.
Peace.